Tuesday, a first alert weather day for low end risk of severe storms, but also some heavy rain, some gusty winds. We're on your side with when we can expect some of the heavies of the rainfall and how much rain we could see by the end of the week.
And we're bringing safety tips for your morning commute tomorrow and how you can stay safe in the rain and storms.
Live on your side, First Alert Weather Extra starts right now.
And thank you for staying with us for First Alert Weather Extra. Tania joins us again. And Tania, the First Alert Weather Day tomorrow, certainly one of the more impactful systems we've seen in a while.
Yeah, definitely a different change from what we have been seeing. We got more rain, we got some windy conditions, and even a storm can't be ruled out. So that's low severe risk, though.
And I know with the last event we had a lot of rain, we had gusty winds, but also with this round, there is a marginal severe weather risk.
Exactly.
So it's been a little while. We need to make sure that we're paying attention to the weather tomorrow, just in case we have a couple of severe storms that pop up. Of course, that is the next big thing we want to get right to here. And I want to show you what the radar looks like at the moment. We are dry. It's mild out there. The clouds are starting to thicken up across the area, and that breeze is going to pick up from the south tonight. But here's what's coming. You can see back to the west, already seeing some of that rain lifting in across Mississippi. And there's a line of rain and storms back into Louisiana. I've been seeing there's a tornado watch there, but you can see there have been tornado warnings. And this is what you see in the cool season a lot, those low top storms and a line like that can produce brief tornadoes, and we've been seeing some of those warnings popping up back into parts of Louisiana. As far as the risk for tornadoes, I'm not too concerned about a major outbreak or tornado setup. The main concern tomorrow would be severe storms with gusty straight line winds, but that severe risk is there. Just need to stay alert during the day in case we do have a severe storm that develops some gusty winds. Heavy rain possible. Could see 1 to 2 inches of rain in a lot of areas, I think, especially for areas to the south. So a first alert weather day again for an impactful system that's going to be moving through during the early morning, and by 6 o'clock tomorrow I think most of this is moving out of here, but you can see that marginal risk and again heavy rain, gusty winds for tomorrow. As far as the start times and the arrival times for the rain, we were showing you there 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, those western areas, central sections, Birmingham, Pell City, Leeds, north to Asheville, Aniana, across Straight Mountain there, Gadsden. You can see there around 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning in Centerville, and then for East Alabama as well. I think for the morning drive, you get over towards Ashland, Rockford, Alexander City, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning. Looks like that risk is going to be there. Here's the forecast data. This is new data coming in. We get those hourly updates, and that's a look at midnight tonight. So again, a lot of this comes in after midnight. This is actually showing 4 o'clock in the morning, maybe some of that rain starting to kind of fill in across the eastern part of the area, but you get the picture. Look at that. We are going to be covered up in the morning. It looks like a messy start to the day tomorrow, so giving you that first alert. And right now, meteorologist Tania Michelle joins us. Tania, we were talking about just how much rain we could see out of this system. I know you have some new data.
I sure do. Let's talk about rainfall accumulation. As we approach tomorrow and as we look ahead, I wanted to show you this. We could be seeing above an inch of rainfall in most areas across central Alabama, showing close to 2 inches in Birmingham, maybe some isolated spots with closer to 3. 4 inches there in Anniston. We'll definitely see some torrential downpours throughout the morning tomorrow. So again, we've been mentioning that this rain and these storms are going to be impacting your early morning commute. So keep that in mind as you're hitting those roadways. 2.2 inches of rain down in Greensboro, 1.7 in Pickens County, and closer to 2 inches for our northeastern county, stretching from Blount to Cherokee, with the greatest rainfall totals stretching from Calhoun County to Cleburne County. So giving you all that first alert. The thing is, it will help alleviate the drought, maybe not get rid of it completely. But I want to talk a little bit more. Meteorologist Matt Daniel joins us now with an explanation behind hydroplaning and how you can stay safe on the roads tomorrow as you head to work and to school.
As you know, tomorrow is a first alert weather day. There is a low wind threat. We could see severe weather, but for a lot of us, we're just going to be dealing with rain and wet roads. And it's been so dry. We just want to give you that reminder, drive safely if you're out and about on the roads. Obviously, when the roads are dry, tires make contact and you're not going to have too many issues. But when you get the wet roads, get some of the oil rising to the surface, you're going to lose a little bit of contact to that wet road and at certain speeds. And that, of course, creates hydroplaning, which means you may unfortunately be on Destiny's report in the morning on Good Day Alabama. So to prevent that, we just want to make sure you stay safe. So when it comes to dry roads, obviously you're going to have lots of traction. You're never going to have many issues out there. Dry roads showing plenty of good things happening for you, but when you have a lot of water on the roads, you're going to get some slick conditions, and that's going to create it a little difficult to steer. And of course, that creates some hydroplaning concerns. So let's talk about hydroplaning speeds. And we are looking at when you get a slow speed and you got water on the road, you're not going to get a lot of water to go around that tire. So when you are going at slower speeds with least water return, you're doing all right. But look at what happens with the water as you start to have a moderate speed. So if you start speeding up a little bit, you're getting more water underneath the tire. There's less traction, and you're going to start to feel that hydroplaning as well. And if you're going really fast, the water goes all the way around the tires, and then you lose a little bit of control. So if you're out and about on the roads tomorrow morning and you notice you might be hydroplaning, just let go of the gas. Don't slam on the brakes. Just sort of coast it, take it easy, and just slow down. Obviously, the speed limit's 50 miles per hour. We encourage you to slow it down just a bit. So let's talk about stopping distances, because of course we're in fall. We've got a lot of leaves on the ground, and that could cause even more issues when it comes to wet leaves, a wet road, and a dry road. So we're going to have a combination of a wet road and perhaps some wet leaves. So let's just say the speed limit is 40 miles per hour, and at the same time all three vehicles decide to stop. Well, guess what happens? It's going to take longer to stop, especially in wet conditions, and especially if it's not only just wet, but you got to worry about leaves on the road. So when you stop, you might have a stopping distance of about 25 yards. But if it's wet and it's raining, and it could take you 50 yards to stop, but with leaves it's even more at 85 yards. So just slow down, take it easy, tune in to Good Day Alabama. Mickey, Megan, and of course Destiny and Caroline will be tracking the weather and the roads to keep you safe.
An active weather pattern shaping up for the northwestern United States, as well as an impactful atmospheric river, the jet stream, as it prepares to bring wet weather by the middle of the week. And seeing another system slamming into the regions from Washington to California, where we could see drenching rainfall and winds that could potentially lead to heavy rain that could lead to flash flooding. And take a look at some of these totals from First Alert AccuTrack system. Look at that, showing estimates 15 to 20 inches of rain, some of those areas out there. That's one thing about that part of the country. You know, when it rains, it absolutely pours. You can see some places receiving that 20 inches of rain, and within the next 7 days, or within the past 7 days, and more rain on the way, and also strong winds also possible with gusts up to 70 miles per hour with this active pattern that's impacting that part of the country. And the powerful jet stream winds are also likely to dump a foot of snow across the Cascades and the Sierra Nevada range.
Wow, that certainly is a lot of rain. But as many of you prepare to travel for Thanksgiving holidays, we're bringing you the first alert for a powerful winter storm setting up across the U.S. starting tomorrow. States across the Midwest to the northern plains could see snow, cold temperatures, strong winds, and even rain. It's the first widespread winter storm of the season, as the first storm system brings severe thunderstorms across portions of Texas and Oklahoma right now. Well, we here on the First Alert Weather Team are going to bring you the Weather Extra this week as we tell you the best time to travel and as you prepare to spend the holidays with your friends and loved ones. As we continue to talk about those wildfires that are scorching across parts of California and the Northeast, the mountain fire has destroyed not only homes, buildings, and trees, but bee colonies as well. Authorities in Ventura County say the mountain fire has destroyed about 150 colonies of bees. Each colony has between 40 and 80,000 bees. The loss is expected to impact the state's agricultural industry, and farmers say they are already thinking about ways to replace those bees.
This place was buzzing. You couldn't hear yourself think at times, especially in the warmer times of the day. bees everywhere, and they're busy working orchards all around. We have native trees here, pepper trees, eucalyptus. There's water down there because of the creeks, so they have everything they need here. This is a great overwintering spot. It's a big blow. It sets us back. Acquiring equipment, we have to build it, we have to paint it, we have to get it prepared, and then bring it and start using it. You know, every day we're loading the truck with more equipment as we use it, and then the next day we have to load more up. We have to catch up. When the busy season comes in the spring, that's when the bees are most active. Right now it's the winter. This is when we spend most of our time building boxes for next year.
Officials say bees are very important in helping farmers grow their crops. The loss to the industry is expected to hit about $2 billion. Wes?
All right, in 30 seconds, we talk about the wet weather and the First Alert Weather Day that's on the way for tomorrow, and continue to talk about the impacts being left by the drought across the country. We'll be right back. And welcome back into Weather Extra. The impacts tomorrow, a First Alert Weather Day. A lot of rain and wind. Could be a few severe thunderstorms out there. Risk for tornadoes is very low tomorrow, but certainly an impactful system that's going to move in. We bumped that rain chance up to 100%. Listen, it's going to rain tomorrow morning, and we're going to have some wet weather at least for that first part of the day, and we'll start to see some breaks there during the afternoon. Temperature-wise, notice the readings in the 60s, so we really don't see a major drop in those temperatures just yet. That's coming later on this week. We're going to be talking about that coming up. But tomorrow, let's talk about the wind speeds. You can see wind south-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Could be some higher wind gusts out there. So early in the day tomorrow, plan for some unsettled weather. But we'll get into more of what's on the way for the rest of the week and your weekend coming up. Tania?
Well, Wes, we've been talking about the drought, and Christmas tree farmers speak about their fears about a green Christmas. A drought affecting many parts of the country, including the Northeast, is leaving tree farmers scrambling to keep their crops watered. One farmer from Minden, Massachusetts, says last year was too wet and this year is just too dry. He says the trees ready to be chopped this holiday season are, they're okay, but the effects will be seen about 10 years down the line.
They're all yellow on the inside, the needles are falling off. No farm needs no water, so without water we can't grow anything. We lost 20 to 25% of the trees that we planted this year. In 10 years, I have 25 or 20% less of my product to sell.
And Morin, that's his name, recommends shoppers get their trees early to ensure the best pick. And over the coming days, you can stay tuned right here on Weather Extra as we talk to Christmas tree farm owners about how Hurricane Helene has also impacted tree production. Well, have you ever wondered how you would feel if the sun was to set tonight and not come back up for months? Well, you already know one place that deals with this every year. One town in Alaska is beginning that experience today. Check out this live footage from Utqiagvik as they will experience 64 days of darkness. Couldn't be me.
No, thank you.
Wes said, no, thank you. The sun isn't expected to rise again until January 22nd at 1:15 p.m. And even though the town won't be completely dark, civil twilight will provide a few hours of dim light during what would typically be their daytime. Well, still ahead, we're going to talk about what you can expect for the rest of the week as we take a look at that 7-day forecast and how people in North Carolina are continuing Helene recovery. We'll be right back.
And welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. We have a First Alert Weather Day tomorrow. A lot of rain, some wind out there, certainly an impactful system. Could see a couple of severe storms. Haven't seen that in a while around here. So double check, make sure you have some fresh batteries in your NOAA weather radio, and make sure you have that First Alert Weather app. Let's check out some of the new data coming in, and this is what the forecast model guidance looks like. And we still are very confident we're going to stay dry at least through midnight. It's after midnight when that rain starts moving in. That's around 4:30 in the morning. And by the time we hit the road tomorrow, right around the peak drive time, a lot of wet weather out there. So plan for some slowdowns, and you'll certainly want to take it slow tomorrow morning. Give yourself some extra drive time. A couple of embedded storms. It looks really messy here in the data. I've seen this set up many times that we don't have necessarily a line of storms that's going to move through, but it'll be a lot of rain and wind mostly, and some embedded thunderstorms. But if we do have a stronger thunderstorm, it's those gusty winds, maybe some hail with some of those out there. But the rest of the day, there's lunchtime, and right around lunch, early afternoon, we should start to see the back edge of this starting to work into the area. But notice as we heat up tomorrow again, there still could be some storms, even with the tail end of this system there later tomorrow. So a first alert again, possibility of some strong storms. Notice we're close to 70 degrees out there in a lot of areas, but the temperature doesn't necessarily just plummet tomorrow night. We're going to see lows around 54. Certainly a cooler start to the day on Wednesday, but for the rest of the day, 65 degrees. I do think it's going to become breezy on Wednesday because that cooler air is going to flow into the state. Notice we dropped to 38 Thursday morning. That's the cold start, and when you really want to bundle up out there early on Thursday. Friday went with a low of 34 degrees. You can see early Friday morning, some areas to the north right around freezing, even showing the freezing mark in Anniston. So that's the next big thing, a first alert for that drop in temperatures. And notice the daytime high around 55. At one point, it looked like temperatures may struggle to break out of the 40s, and the only reason for that is we were seeing a lot more cloud cover. But with that sunshine coming back, that should help those daytime temperatures rebound into the 50s. Saturday, 58 degrees. The weekend looks dry right now, so making plans. Perhaps you're already traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday week coming up. Saturday morning looks to be one of the colder mornings this week. Could see a few upper 20s on the map there early Saturday morning. It's not the polar plunge, but certainly one of the coldest mornings that we have seen so far this fall season. And next week, a weak front may bring a shower on Monday. So we're going to talk more about Beyond the 7-Day here in a moment. But first off, we have a Color the Weather photo from Demetrius Trammell. I want to share this lovely fall photo. Thank you, Demetrius, for sharing this with us. We always love to share your Color the Weather photos, and still some pumpkins out there. Tania, I've still seen some pumpkins on some of the porches around here, but also I did notice yesterday some Christmas lights going up in the neighborhood. But hey, go to WBRC.com and visit Color the Weather. Share those with us. We love those Color the Weather photos and even your weather pictures that you share on the First Alert Weather app. But you can also share these pictures on the First Alert Weather app. And if you don't color the pictures we have on our website, we love to see your artistic abilities. So share those with us. Okay, right now let's go to meteorologist Tania Michelle. Tania, big question. We've got a lot going on. I do want to mention this weekend, you and I checked on Norman, Oklahoma. I know a lot of Alabama fans going over for the Oklahoma game. That forecast looks dry on Saturday.
Dry,
and
highs
dry
in the 60s.
In the 60s, and dry for Alabama for Saturday as well.
Yes.
But Thanksgiving week, tell us about it.
Things might change for us. Let's go beyond the 7-day as you prepare those Thanksgiving meals and that Thanksgiving belly to get nice and full. Well, you might just be shocked with some wet weather too. But hey, if you're going to be inside eating and stuffing away, it's not a complaint, right? We are tracking another front that's likely going to move through around next week, sometime between Wednesday and Thursday. And as that front begins to move through, we'll see some showers possibly as early as next Tuesday, but a better chance for rain as we approach Wednesday and maybe even on Thanksgiving Day as we approach next Thursday. So looking beyond the 7-day, I'm still seeing the chance for some wet weather, and that means there could be some wet weather around as you are eating those Thanksgiving meals. But here's a look at those headlines as we get beyond the 7-day. Number one, we're looking at some showers Wednesday the 27th, possibly continuing to Thanksgiving Day, November the 28th, and also some scattered storms by November the 29th. And mild temperatures, well, that's what we're looking like as of right now. Well, parts of western North Carolina are still in recovery mode weeks after Hurricane Helene devastated the area, one of the hardest hit places in Asheville, where residents have been without drinkable tap water since the storm struck. But that may change this week. Naja Petit has the latest.
Access to clean water has brewed up some issues and is calling some businesses to reach their boiling point.
Certainly the cost of bringing in clean water from a reputable source, to the cost of the equipment that pumps into the system, we've also been operating only on to-go paper goods, which is another cost expense.
For Jay Weatherly, owner at High Five Coffee in Asheville, he says that without drinkable water, his team had to get innovative just to keep the coffee brewing and the business running. And that meant bringing out the heavy hitters.
I've tied a water system into my brewing equipment. So I have a 55-gallon tank with a pump that I was able to actually replace into the water line. And so I have all of my brewing equipment. So I have to make sure that that's filled every day, and I have to purchase potable water. Fortunately, it holds enough, even when it's low, but we just make sure it doesn't get below a certain line. It is definitely robust. It can pump certainly much more than what we have.
And in due course, putting a real strain on business operation.
Yeah, it does very much. It has changed certainly how to make sure that we have certain equipment off at night. We have certain equipment we have to change on in the morning, so operationally procedures have been different, and also making sure that we have enough water coming in, that if we have any dishes, how we do those dishes, how we do anything.
But there's finally some light at the end of the tunnel. Asheville's water officials have been optimistic that the boiling water advisory could be dropped in the coming days.
That will mean that water is out of the tap, acceptable for consumption.
For the past week, water officials have been flushing its system with treated non-potable water. Results are clear of toxins. Officials say the effort to restore drinkable water is still underway.
Starting tomorrow, we will test a total of 120 points throughout our distribution system for total coliform, E. coli, and chlorine residual.
Until then, Weatherly is breathing a sigh of relief.
It feels great. It'd be nice to not have to have water toted in jugs on a constant basis and have things operating more normally. That would be fantastic.
And locals feeling hopeful.
That sounds nice. I'll be excited about it when it's actually here. I don't want to get my hopes up.